Beresheet A, Article 6. Let there be a firmament. Three distinct spiritual energy forces permeate all existence. Using the language of metaphor, the Zohar identifies these three forces as right, left, and central columns. Right correlates to the positive force, which manifests physically as the proton. Left signifies a negative charge, manifesting as the electron. Central is expressed through the neutron, the force that bridges the positive and negative poles. Just as the filament in a light bulb creates the resistance that generates light, the central column corresponds to the cosmic force of resistance. The firmament, whose resistance produces illumination. Even sunlight striking a physical object requires reflection in order to generate luminous energy. This model for arousing both spiritual and physical light is mirrored within ourselves. Our left side corresponds to the negative pole, and to our desire to receive. The right side signifies the positive pole, the will to share that resides in our soul. Our hearts and minds correspond to the central aspect. This is our free will, whereby we can choose to resist the desire to receive and nurture the desire to share. This is the choice that arouses spiritual light. This section of the Zohar fills us with the power to resist our own selfish desires. It strengthens our central column, which is our own free will. We are blessed with the ability to create unity between opposite forces in our lives. We can become a bridge between opposing sides, and by so doing we can help to resolve conflict and confrontation. Kabbalah teaches the disunity among people is the source of all hatred and violence, regardless of who is right or wrong. And Elohim said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters." Beresheet 1:6. This phrase alludes to a detailed reform of the separation of the upper from the lower waters, according to the secret of the left. Here the dispute according to the secret of the left occurred. Until this point, referring to the first day, reference is made to the right. But on the second day, reference is to the secret of the governing of the left. Because of this, a great dispute broke out on the second day between the two sides. The left wanted to cancel the governing power of the right entirely, while the right wanted to cancel the governing power of the left entirely. The right, which is the secret of Chesed and the first day, is the perfection of all. Because of this, everything was written in the right on the first day. This means that all the 7 days, which are the 7 Sephirot, emerged in it and are hinted in it, because every perfection depends on the right side. When the rule of the left was aroused, its dispute with the right began, and the fire of anger in that dispute became fierce. From this dispute, Gehenna was created. So Gehenna was awakened and created by the left and cleaved to it, which means that whoever wants to strengthen the left shall fall into Gehenna, which originates from it. In his wisdom, Moses looked into this and learned about the work of creation. In the work of creation, there was a dispute between the left and the right, and in that dispute, which the left provoked, Gehenna was created, and Gehenna held on to the left. The central pillar, which is Tiferet, entered between them on the third day, ending the dispute and bringing the two sides to an agreement. So Gehenna removed itself from the left and descended below. The left joined the right, and there was peace everywhere. A similar dispute occurred between Korah and Aaron, the left against the right. Moses studied the creation and said, "I am one able to eliminate the dispute between left and right." Moses tried his best to reconcile them, but the left did not want to be reconciled. So Korah became stronger and overcame Aaron. Moses said, "Assuredly, because of the power of the disagreement of the left, Gehenna should cling to it, just as it was in the works of creation." Korah did not wish to be attached above, namely to the structure of holiness, and join the right. Like the left on high, so assuredly he shall descend below, down into Gehenna, because of the fierceness of his anger. As happened in the works of creation, Gehenna came out and cleaved to the left. Moses knew that with the strength of Korah's anger, Korah would descend to Gehenna and be attached to it. Because of this, Korah did not want Moses to settle this dispute, since it was not for heaven's sake, with pure intention. He had no respect for the celestial glory, which is the Shekinah, and refused to acknowledge the work of creation. This means that he denied the settlement of the central column. In the work of creation, he wanted only the left to govern. As soon as Moses realized that he was denying the work of creation and being rejected out of holiness, Moses was much angered. Bamidbar 16:15. And Moses was much angered because Korah and his company refused to acknowledge him and did not allow him to settle a dispute. It is written, much, because they denied the acknowledgement of the work of creation. So Korah denied everything above in Zir and Pin, and below in the souls, as it is written, when they strove against Hashem. Bamidbar 26:9, which is the secret of Zir and Pin. For the damage that he did reached both above to Zir and Pin and below to Moses. Therefore Korah cleaved on to what he deserved. He reached Gehenna as written. They went down alive into Sheol. Bamidbar 16:13. Another dispute was settled like above. A dispute that rose and did not come down and was based on decency was that between Shammai and Hillel. Shammai was the aspect of the left on high, while Hillel was the aspect of the supernal right. And the Holy One, blessed be He, intervened between them and approved of them. This means that the differences and arguments between Shammai and Hillel reached them from the central column of above, which is the secret of the Holy One, blessed be He. This was a dispute for the sake name of heaven and the heavens. Zir and Pin reconciled this dispute to establish both. Because of this, their illuminations continue to exist. This dispute is like the work of creation. It is similar to what the central column achieved for the sake of establishing the work of creation. But Korah denied the establishing of the work of creation, and the dispute was toward the heavens, namely Zir and Pin, that is, the reconciling column, and he wanted to deny the principles of the Torah, which is Zir and Pin. Assuredly, this dispute and denial was the result of the efforts of Gehenna, and its power of judgment cleaved to Korah, and he to it. Thus he fell into Gehenna. The secret appears in the book of Adam. When darkness was aroused to take control, it emerged in all its might and created Gehenna within it. And Gehenna cleaved to it in that dispute. As the anger and the might of the Gevurot were calmed down, the dispute was aroused in a different manner, as a dispute of love. There were two kinds of disputes, one at the beginning and one at the end. This is the path of the righteous, which is hard in the beginning, because it is full of suffering, but ends in peace. Korah, being the left, was the beginning of the dispute between the right and the left, which was full of anger and fierceness. Each wanted to diminish the illumination of its neighbor. From this, Gehenna emerged and Korah cleaved to Gehenna. Shammai was also the aspect of the left. But at the end of the dispute between the right and the left, when anger was forgotten and the dispute of love was set in motion so as to receive approval from the heavens, which is the column that settles the dispute. This is the secret of the verse. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide. Beresheet 1:6. This is the first dispute, aroused by anger and force, in which each wanted to overcome and annul its neighbor. The Holy One, blessed be He, wished to nullify the dispute, and Gehenna was aroused until the anger and aggressiveness cooled down. Then it is written, and Elohim made the firmament and divided. This division is the dispute carried with love and friendship, which supports the world. According to the secret, namely through the dispute of love, is carried the dispute between Shammai and Hillel, namely the dividing, and Elohim made the firmament. At the end of the dispute, on the other hand, the dispute of Korah was one of anger, which is the dividing of, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water. At the beginning of the dispute, So the dispute of Shammai and Hillel was for the sake of heaven, in which the oral Torah, which is the secret of the female principle, entered with love into the written Torah, which is Zir and Pin, and called heaven, and they were in perfect union. Division certainly applies to the left alone, as it is written in relation to the second day. And let it divide. While of Korah it is written, Is it but a small thing to you, that the Elohim of Yisrael has separated you? Bamidbar 16:9. It is also written, At that time Hashem separated the tribe of Levi. Devarim 10:8. So assuredly the separation appears only in the second day in the place of the left. You may ask, if division occurs definitely on the second day, why then is the separation mentioned about Levi, who is the third son of Jacob? It should have been associated with Simon, who is the second son of Jacob. The answer is that although Levi is the third son, according to Jacob's mind, he is the second, because Reuben is not considered the first son of Leah, as at that time Jacob thought she was Rachel. So the separation is forever in the second, because after the division has occurred in the second, everything goes smoothly along the straight path in a perfect way as it should be. This is because by the separation, the lights enclose each other and are completed by each other. The Havdalah, prayer of separation, that is performed at the end of Shabbat, is for the purpose of separating these powers that are dominant during the days of the week from holiness that is dominant during Shabbat. With the ending of Shabbat, one aspect of Gehenna appears. It is the evil eye that desires to govern the world, just as Yisrael recite, O prosper it, the work of our hands. It emerges from that grade of the other side, which is called the left, and wishes to mingle with the seed of Yisrael by taking control over the Holy Covenant and having power to punish Yisrael. While Yisrael perform an action, a precept, using the myrtle and the wine and recite the Havdalah, the other side departs from them. That side is lowered and enters into its place in Sheol, in the place where Korah and his company are, as it is written, They and all that appertained to them went down alive into Sheol. Bamidbar 16:33. So Korah and his company did not go down to Gehenna until Yisrael separated from them, as it is written, Separate yourselves from among this congregation. Here as well, the other side does not go to Gehenna at the end of Shabbat before Yisrael performs the Havdalah. So the separation is always on the second day, which is the left column. This refers to what has already been explained, that even the Havdalah at the ending of the Shabbat is intended to separate the other side that extends from the left column. It was at the beginning of the dispute, which was aroused by the aggressiveness and anger of the left, before it was calmed down and quieted, that Gehenna was created. Then were created all those angels that denounce before the Holy One, blessed be He, their master above, the secret of the central column. They disagree with his reconciliation and deviate to the left. Therefore the fire burns them up and they are consumed. And the other angels, all those who are annulled and have no support, are burned in the fire. All these have come from the power of the fire of the dispute in the beginning, on the second day. Similarly, Korah fell down into Gehenna and was burned, just like those angels who burned in the fire of Nahar Dinur. And everything follows the same manner, extending from the beginning of this dispute with the fire of anger. Let there be a firmament tells us that an expansion has occurred between the two. The lower waters expanded and were separated from the upper waters, and the upper waters expanded and were separated from the lower waters by the firmament. The letters El, E-L, Aleph Lamed, in the name Elohim, Aleph Lamed, He Yud Mem, from the firmament up are of the right side. In other words, El always alludes to the name of Chesed, which is the right side. The name Great El has expanded from within the waters, and is separated from them. This means that because of the firmament, the name Great El has spread upward and has separated itself from the other waters, namely the three letters, He, Yud, Mem. This was to complete the name El, and to include the upper and lower waters within each other through that expansion. And the name El of Elohim expanded, leaving only the three letters, He, Yud, Mem. He, Yud, Mem then expanded down below the firmament and became the lower waters, Yud, Mem, He. This is the expansion into the second one, that is, He, Yud, Mem, into Yud, Mem, He. The upper waters are He, Yud, Mem, as written. So is this great and wide sea. Thus, He, Yud, Mem are the upper waters. If the letters He, Yud, Mem are in reversed order, that is, Yud, Mem, He, this indicates they are lower waters. Once the letters Yud, Mem, He were restored, they ascended and rose above the firmament and joined the name Great El, and returned to the combination of the Great Sea, which was He, Yud, Mem. Then everyone, El and He, Yud, Mem, were united as one, resulting in one name, Elohim, and this name Elohim reached into many places. The upper waters are male, the lower waters are female. At first, before they were firmly established, they were mixed, but were later separated to distinguish the upper waters from the lower waters. And to differentiate them, one is called Elohim, which is Banah, and the other is called Adonai, which is Malchut. One is the upper He of the name Yud He Va He, which is Banah, and the other is the lower He of the name Yud He Va He, which is Malchut. It is then written about them, and Elohim made the firmament, Beresheet 1:7. This expansion assumed the name Elohim, for the verse, and Elohim made, indicates that the expansion of He, Yud, Mem returned back to El and merged into the name Elohim and the upper waters. For the name Elohim is the upper waters and the name Adonai, the female principle of Zir and Pin, is the female waters. Nevertheless, since the male waters, or the letters He, Yud, Mem, were completed only by the female waters, namely the female principle of Zir and Pin, the name Elohim expanded everywhere, including the female waters. Although on the second day the upper and lower waters were divided, the dispute between the right and the left, which are the letters Aleph Lamed and He, Yud, Mem, did not cease until the third day, which is Tiferet. The third day settled a dispute between the right and the left, as the two columns, Aleph Lamed and He, Yud, Mem, enclosed each other, and both were established properly in their places. Because of this dispute, even though the world exists upon it, it is not written. It was good about the second day, because the work was not yet completed on that day. So the upper and lower waters were mingled together as one, and there was no offspring in the world until they were divided into two, and distinguished as separate from each other. Only then did they bring forth offspring. Although the separation of the lower waters from the upper waters occurred on the second day, the dispute between El, which is the right, and He, Yud, Mem, which is the left, was unresolved. Only the third day reconciled between them. Both became equal and joined them into the one name, Elohim. The third day, which is Zir and Pin, is the name upon which is engraved He, Vav, He, to make the upper waters, Banah, equal to the lower waters, Malchut. Because the letters He, Va, He are the secrets of the two He's with Vav between them. The upper He is Banah, and the lower He is Malchut. The Vav in between is Zir and Pin, and it completes and illuminates both sides, above in Banah and below in Malchut. This was signified by the splitting of the waters of the Jordan, where the upper waters rose in a heap and did not flow down into the Dead Sea, This is the secret of the upper He of the name Yud He Va He, namely Binah. On the other hand, the lower waters, which are the secret of the lower He, Malkut, flow down into the Dead Sea, which is the secret of the lower He, Malkut. And Yisrael, the secret of the upper Vav, went in the middle between the upper waters and the lower waters of the Jordan. Thus Yisrael, the secret of the Vav, of Yud He Vav He, received the abundance from the upper He and bestowed it upon the lower He. Firmament is mentioned 5 times on the second day, and the life of the worlds, which is Yesod of Zir and Pin, passes through them and guides the worlds through them. They are all comprised of each other. Had the central column not settled a dispute, neither would have included the other nor be harmonized. These 5 firmaments are equivalent to the 500 years to which the tree of life, which is Zir and Pin, is attached to produce offspring and fruits in the world. All the waters of creation, namely the kinds of mochin that float out from Beresheet, which is Arik and Pin, are divided under it and through it into the upper waters and the lower waters. King David, who is the secret of the female principle, receives everything from Zir and Pin. He then distributes it down to the lower worlds of Briyah, Yetzirah, and Asiya, as it is written, and he distributed among all the people, among the whole multitude. It is also written, You give it to them, they gather it. And she rises also while it is yet night and gives food. When disagreement was aroused through the fierceness of the left, the mist of fire increased and became overpowering. The spirits produced from within that mist immediately congealed. They became dry and without any moisture. These spirits, which were male and female, produced a multitude of evil spirits. From this, all the might of the impure spirit appeared in all these strong spirits. This is the secret of the klippah, of the foreskin. These spirits were strengthened in impurity through the violent demons. One is called a viper, and the other a serpent, and these 2 kinds become one. The viper bears offspring every 70 years, while the serpent only every 7 years. But as they are joined together, everything returned to the 7 years of the serpent. Therefore the viper begets every 7 years like the serpent, and they become as if one species. From herein lies the secret of Gehaman, which has 7 names, and the evil inclinations, which also has 7 names. From here, impurity expands and spreads out in many grades into the world. And everything comes from the principle of the left, which contains good and evil and thereby makes the world habitable. From here is the secret of the holy name that is engraved by 18 letters, and is responsible for the bountiful rains that feed the earth, for human charity, for all our blessings, and for the general inhabitation of the world. Article 7. Let the waters be gathered. Here the Zohar speaks about the dimensions, or Sifra, called Yesod. This is an immense reservoir that resides just above our physical dimension. All the upper worlds, or Sifrat, fill Yesod with their unique spiritual forces, where they are blended and prepare for transfer. Like a cosmic pipeline, Yesod then funnels all this light into our world, which is called Malchut. We can arouse great lights in the upper worlds through our actions, but unless the floodgates of Yesod are opened, the light can never reach our realm. The Aramaic passages that illustrate this procedure strengthen our personal connection to Yesod. They help us to open the pipeline from the upper worlds. And Elohim said, Let the waters be gathered. Beresheet 1:9. The words be gathered mean that the mochin, called the waters, will travel in a straight line on one level without spreading to the right or left. Everything flows mysteriously from the secret of that primal point, which is Arik Anpin, until the light reaches and is gathered in the supernal chamber. From there, it then flows into a straight line to the other grades, namely to Zir and Pin, until it reaches the one place where everything is gathered according to the secret of male and female. He asks, And what is this place? He replied, This is the life of the worlds, namely Yesod of Zir and Pin, which is the male who is united with Malchut, which is the female principle. Thus it comprises male and female together. The waters mentioned in the verses flow from above, from the upper He of the Yud He Va He, which is Yisrael, Saba, and Tevanah. The words under the heaven allude to small Vav, which is Yesod of Zir and Pin. Zir and Pin is called great Vav, while his Yesod is called small Vav. Therefore, when the letter Vav is pronounced, two Vavs are heard. The first one is heaven, namely Zir and Pin, and the second one is under the heaven, namely Yesod of Zir and Pin. After the Mokin are drawn from the upper He, which is Banah, down under the heaven, which is Yesod of Zir and Pin, it is written, "And let the dry land appear." This is the lower He, namely Malchut, the female principle of Zir and Pin, because only she was revealed as dry land, while all the other grades were hidden. From within that last grade, referring to the lower He, Malchut, that light that was concealed was heard and revealed. The phrase, "to one place," is called Yesod, because there is a connection to the union of the upper world through Yesod. The verse, "Hashem shall be one, and his name one," hints at two unions. One is the upper world that is unified in its own grade, which is the secret of Hashem is one, and the second is the lower world that is unified in its own grades, according to the secret, and is named one. The unification of the upper world by the secret of Hashem is one is up to Yesod. The life of the worlds, which is Yesod, is sweetened in Banah, and the upper world is connected to its unification. Because of this it is called to one place, as all the grades and all the parts gather there, and they become as one in it without any separation at all. No grade unites there wholly save this grade, in which all the lights are mysteriously covered in one desire. Up to this point, referring to the words, "And let the dry land appear," the revealed world, which is the secret of Rachel, is unified with the concealed world, which is Leah. The revealed world, which is Rachel, the female principle of Zir and Pin, who is located from his chest downward, is similarly unified below. The revealed world is the lower world, as can be proven by reading the scriptures where it is described in terms of seeing. "I saw Hashem, and they saw the Elohim of Yisrael, and the glory of Hashem appeared. And as the appearance of the rainbow, so was the appearance of the brightness around it. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of Hashem. And it is known that the lower female principle, which is called Rachel, is described by the words, glory of Hashem, and by the particle et, the. This is the secret of the verse. Let the dry land appear, because seen applies only to the revealed world, and not to the upper world. The verse, as the appearance of the rainbow, which is written about the divine chariot of Ezekiel, alludes to the life of the worlds, namely Yesod of Zir and Pin. Therefore it is written in the portion of Noah, I have set my rainbow in the cloud, Beresheet 9:13, which also alludes to Yesod of Zir and Pin, who is called the life of the worlds. The phrase in the cloud refers to Malchut, namely the lower female principle of Zir and Pin, the revealed world of Rachel. The words, I have set, mean that he has set his rainbow in the cloud ever since the day of creation. That cloudy day, which is described in the verse, and it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud, indicates that only then shall the rainbow be seen according to the secret of the appearance of the likeness of the glory of Hashem, and not at any other time. Why is this so? As the left is aroused, Rachel emerges to her own aspect, and she had hard labor, Beresheet 35:16. Therefore it is said that 3 angels stay by her side, Michael at one side, the right side, Raphael at the one side, in the middle, and Gabriel at one side, the left side. And from them she receives her strength to give birth. These three aspects are the colors seen in the form of the rainbow: white, red, and green. The phrase, "so was the appearance of the brightness round about," alludes to the illumination that was concealed and has disappeared within the pupil of the eye. So the phrase, "this was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of Hashem," applies to the color and the appearance of the rainbow, and not to the appearance of the brightness. This is because the lower union of the three colors of the rainbow correspond with the upper union. The three names, Hashem, our Elohim, Hashem, which appear in the verse, "Hear, O Yisrael," allude to the three colors, white, red, and green, when they are concealed, invisible, and attached to one place. This is the secret of the first union in the upper world that is called one place, and the colors united in the rainbow below, which are white, red, and green, correspond to the three concealed colors of the upper union. Hashem, our Elohim, Hashem. These colors of the rainbow belong to another union, which is the secret of, and this name one. The lower union, it is the secret of the verse, "Blessed be the name of the glory of his kingdom forever and ever." That we respond after, "Hear, O Yisrael," which is the lower union. The upper union indicated by the verse, "Hear, O Yisrael," Hashem our Elohim, Hashem is one, corresponds to the lower union. "Blessed be the name of the glory of his kingdom forever and ever." Each verse contains 6 words. The words "be gathered" suggest measurement by the line and the measuring. Measuring is from the hard spark that is in Banah, as it is written, "Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand?" In this verse, "who" alludes to Banah. This is what is meant by, "let the waters be gathered." Here in the verse, "let the waters be gathered," is the extent of the entire mochin of he who forms the worlds, namely Zir and Pin, and which is hinted at in the name Yod He Va He, fully spelled with alephs as Yud, Va, Dalet, He, Aleph, Vav, Aleph, Vav, He, Aleph. Holy, holy, holy is the secret of the mochin of Banah, which is also the secret of the verse, "Let the waters be gathered." The phrase, Hashem Tzah, Ot, is the secret of the verse to one place. Yesod of Zir and Pin, that is called the life of the worlds, to which the mochin from Banah flow according to the secret of the phrase, to one place. The phrase, "the whole earth is full of his glory," is the secret of the verse, "and let the dry land appear." This verse is the secret of the lower He, called the revealed world when comprised within the union of the upper world. The words, "and let the dry land appear," is the secret of the engraved name of the union of Kaf, Vav, Zayin, Vav, Bet Mem, Vav, Kaf, Samek, Zayin, and Kaf, Vav, Zayin, Vav, because the dry land, which is the revealed world, is included in the union of the supernal world, which is the secret of Hashem, our Elohim, Hashem.